Hello, my wonderful, amazing artist. It's me, Miss Abby, and today is another Changemaker Wednesday. That's where we talk about and make art inspired by a change maker, someone who made the world a better place by advocating for equality and taking care of the earth and the world and each other. And today we're talking about John Lewis. John Lewis was an activist and a comic book author. He was a really amazing person, and from a really, really young age, like before he even graduated high school, was involved in the civil rights movement, just like Martin Luther King and like Rosa Parks were involved in the civil rights movement. So was he. And so in John Lewis was in 1965 as a young man involved in a protest march from Selma, Alabama to the capital of Alabama, which is Montgomery. So there was a big group of people marching together, carrying signs. Martin Luther King was there. So was John Lewis as a young man. And they were protesting the right to vote and the segregation of black and white people in that community. And when back in the present day, you can also find John Lewis's name in the comic book section of your local library. He wrote a comic all about his experiences in Selma at this protest so that he could educate kids and adults all about his experience and really inspire them to become a change maker. So today, we're going to get inspired by John Lewis to create our own mini comic. It doesn't have to be change makers or anything like that. It's just a comic. We're just going to learn how to fold the paper. Okay, so we are using one piece of paper to make a mini book, folding and cutting. All you need for this to get started is a piece of paper and a scissor. Now, let's get into it. This requires a growth mindset. It took me a couple tries before I could really get it perfect. Okay, so we're using one piece of paper to make a mini book. I call these zines, which is short for magazine. And you start by folding it in half, hot dog style, or hamburger style as I call it, the wide way, kind of like if you're making a birthday card. Then you take one level of it and fold it in half. Now I like to line up my corners very carefully, and I'm looking right here at this edge and making sure they're lined up. When I see the corners lined up, I'm taking my thumb in the middle and creasing outward. Then I'm flipping to the other side to fold this. I'm lining it up. When I'm happy with it, I'm folding it. Should look like a letter W or a letter M. Now, we're going to open it, and your line should still say the same. Then we're going to fold it hot dog style very carefully. This part might be a little tricky. Take your time, take some deep breaths. You'll get it. And this is also a very fun thing to do with your family. Fold it up. Now, we're going to open the whole thing, and it should look like this. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4 in one row, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in the other. In total, that's 8. Now, we're going to fold it in half again, and we have the open mouth side, then the folded side. And we're going to go cut from the folded side to this crisscross, this crossroads. But we're going to use a pencil to help us remember which side to fold up, to cut on. I'm going to cut from here to here. And remember, this is the open mouth side. This that we're going to cut on is the folded side. And we're going to cut through 2 layers of paper, not just one. And we're just snipping very carefully. And this is going to take some finesse, some finagling, but you're going to fold it. See how this looks? And then you're going to fold it into a book from here. And it's going to be a little tricky. You might have to use some extra creasing, some growth mindset. Now, ta-da, you have a book. Now, what you fill with this book is up to you. This is your turn to get inspired by how John Lewis told his story to tell your own. Tell the story about something you care about, whether it's stories about your cat or your favorite jokes or a superhero that you invented yourself. My one recommendation would be to start with a pencil and then maybe use tools that draw thin lines. It's probably going to be kind of challenging to use a really thick, round tool like this that draws wide lines. We want thin lines because we're working on very thin paper. And use it to tell your story. You can do writing. You can do writing and drawing mix. That would be amazing. You can even draw a comic book if you want. And just tell your own story. Write down what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're very interested in, and what you know a lot about. Tell your story and keep making art. Bye. Have fun making art. I hope you give this a try. I really love making these. It's really something special. And I don't know. I like making them and trading them with friends or giving them as gifts. Give that a try. Bye. Have fun making art.